No
Okay.
failure,
Hi.
Brenda.
Go ahead. What was the
Brenda's was
question?
asleep.
Falling
Yeah.
asleep.
I didn't get a nap today.
Hey, let's go to Cade. He's got something to show. It's pretty cool. And, those of you that like fine woodworking, you'll appreciate this.
All right. Hey, everyone. I don't have any wood turning here. I'm at the archery range, but I do have my new bow. I can show you that. It's Coco Bolo, walnut, olive wood. And I'll just flip my camera here.
Oh,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, did you make it?
No, I bought this from Germany. It was made by a bowyer in Germany. The handle is Coco Bolo with a walnut and then maple veneer, which creates the X in the grip. And then the limbs are olive wood from Bethlehem.
oh, wow.
Great.
Yeah.
And there's Coco Bolo and Blackwood in the tips.
Mm.
And the bamboo core in the limbs with black veneer plexiglass or yeah, no, it's not plexiglass, it's fiberglass, the black core. So this is my hunting bow, and I'm turkey season opens in a week and a half. So you see that tiny little target right there? That is
Yeah.
a Philadelphia cream cheese lid. And that is the size of the vitals of a turkey. So when the distance I'm walking from is 25 meters. So that's where I'll be shooting the turkeys from. But there's the vitals of a turkey. And at the proper height of the turkey. And then this is, I'm almost there.
He's walking backwards.
This is 25 meters to that tiny little target right there.
I'd need a scope on that bow to see that. My God.
Yeah, there's nothing fancy, no scopes, no nothing, just a bare stick bow. It's bear hide here, and then this is a bear skin rest, and it's just straight off the rest, no scope or nothing.
What is your rate of hitting that?
With this bow, I'm pulling 50 pounds. So at full draw, it's 50 pounds.
I mean, how many times out of how many out of 10 can you hit that little dot?
9 or 8. 8 or 9, depending on the day.
I
But
seen
if I
that
miss
picture.
it,
Now that's good. I
If
seen
I
that picture where you had on Facebook. My gosh, I could not believe how close those things were.
yeah, the turkey. Yeah, I was practicing. And when I shoot these are my arrows.
How long is that arrow?
About 32 inches.
Oh, okay.
And
It's
it
longer than
goes that deep into the target.
Mm.
Wow.
So it'll absolutely go through a deer, moose, bear, elk,
Sure.
small game. So
It creates breathing problems in the lung and heart.
yeah. So that's my non-turning show and tell this week. But I've been
Good, Kate. It's beautiful.
Well, you got to shoot one for us.
Yeah.
What I was thinking. Demo.
Yeah. Oh, we want to see you fire one.
All right. You can hear the crack of it when you put it bullet.
pressure's on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking grinning. I think he's a little embarrassed.
I must have missed.
No.
No way.
I was gonna shoot them all. Show us how close he got.
Yeah.
Hopefully he got it in there.
I got when after I shoot these five.
First one is at 1 o'clock. Second one was at 5 o'clock. That one's closer to the center. I used to shoot bow years ago. Nailed it.
Are you aiming directly at the target? Are you shooting for windage or up high, or is it straight on?
It depends on the distance. So I do traditional gap shooting. So depending on my distance or my elevation, my gap changes.
Yeah.
So when I'm aiming at I'm at 25 meters. So when I'm aiming at the Philadelphia lid, the tip of my arrow is about 1.5 feet under the target. And then I use my shelf for my right and left
Yeah. Okay.
alignment. And then the tip of the arrow is for my height. When I'm shooting at 40 meters, the tip of my arrow is right on the target I'm shooting at. When I'm shooting at 55 meters, my arrow tip is 1.5 feet above the target I am trying to hit because I account for the trajectory and the drop of the arrow. So it takes a lot more skill than just looking through a scope.
Right.
Cade, what's the pull on your bow?
You said
50
50
pounds.
pounds.
50
50
pounds.
Okay,
And it's not like a compound bow where I pull it back
You know,
and it's a percentage, like a compound bow. You pull the 50 pounds back, but when you're only holding 50 pounds because of the wheels and the cams. But with a traditional recurve, every time I pull that and hold it, it's 50 pounds. I was surprised.
now you gotta see how well he did.
So the 3 right around the target would still be a kill on a turkey. But the 2 lower ones would be, of course I was shooting better before, but
Right in the quadruped.
Under a little pressure this time, was you?
There you go.
Look at that.
Man,
so these 3 would definitely be kill shots. This would
Yeah.
take out his knees, and this would push his breast and probably the front
Yeah,
of the lung.
That one would
Uh,
trim his beard.
Yeah, trim the beard. But here you can
Yep.
see how far these go in,
Wow.
and that's like ballistic foam. This is ballistic foam.
oh wow. Well, that one hit the target right on the bottom.
Yeah, that one hit right here.
Yeah.
Earlier, I went through here a couple times and up here and over here. But I always switch too. So I shoot this and then I shoot this, shoot this, shoot this. No one's here, so I'll shoot at all 4 targets. Just to gauge my distance and my height and my elevation and whatnot.
Night, Doug.
Night, Doug.
Night, Doug.
Night, Doug.
Night, Randy.
So
Night, Randy.
do one more round, see. I've been here since 6. So I shot outside for a while for the dusk and I went through the forest. We have a 3D tour with animals set up throughout the forest, 20 acres. Walk around shooting deer, moose, elk, buffalo, boar, turkey, squirrel, and they're all life-size home targets you're shooting at different distances, ranging from 20 meters up to 80 meters.
Well, come here.
It's crazy. The mic's picking up the sound of it running through the air. It's crazy.
And then a big thump when it hits the
Target, yeah.
target leaves.
You should hear
The
it when
arrows are 9.6 grains per inch, and then the tip is 125 grain. So it hits like a mule. You can feel
So if he was-
the thump when it
if he was
hits
to
the
put his phone down there by the target, you would hear a thud, a whistle, incoming whistle, and a thud with the arrow going in.
Yeah.
Which is
Probably
also
hit
the
the
same,
target better.
same sound the animal hears coming at him.
Yeah, well, I have beaver balls that go on the string, so that will silence it. So, I mean, these are better. The height's better. I still within a couple inches of the target, so it's still kill shots. That's a good group. So, I mean, I'll shoot at the target. I'll get probably better at that height, but I also practice from kneeling. So I shoot from kneeling, standing, crouching, sitting.
Mm.
Because when I'm sitting and waiting for them or stalking them, there's times that won't let me stand up. So I'm gonna have to make the shot from kneeling or sitting or
How many turkeys are you allowed to bring home when you're hunting?
1 per day and 2 for the spring season. And I can only hunt toms, which is full-grown males. In the fall, I think I can get 3 and it's open. I can shoot a hen, a tom, or a jake. So a hen's a female, a tom's a male, and a jake is a juvenile.
Hmm.
But I probably won't shoot the juveniles. I'll just go for the toms, the big males.
How many turkeys you got in your freezer right now?
None. I've eaten them all. So
That's what you're
Yeah.
supposed to do with them.
Good thing it's hunting time, huh?
yeah, practice.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's better. It changes my gap when I needle too. When I'm kneeling, oh, that was off. There we go. I get the Philadelphia target, cream cheese target, which is only maybe 3 inch diameter. That would have been a headshot.
Still a turkey coming home, right?
But I always practice on small target because aim small, hit small. I mean, you're gonna still get a kill shot. Man, probably getting fatigued. I've been here for what, 4 hours?
Oh,
My God. Good work there.
Hey, if anybody's got any kind of turning problems or whatever, we can jump in
Yeah,
if you need
feel
to,
free to bring them up.
especially while Kate's here.
uh-oh. Yeah, that's a good grouping.
Yeah,
Morgan, are you on tonight?
really good grouping.
Hey, Dane,
Hey, done?
My tips are loose.
Or,
there we
no,
go.
you got something.
Hey, Dane,
Yeah,
Hey, how's it going?
it's going. I sent you those pictures of those that walnut tree we cut up today.
right?
Gonna
Oh,
mill it
nice.
out, gonna mill it out Sunday. And I just want your thoughts on how thick, and how wide to go ahead and get the blanks.
Yeah, let me look at the blank again. What was the dimensions on those?
They're about, well, they're not totally round, but they're like 21 inches on the butt.
Yeah, right. I'd go at least 5-inch slabs.
Okay,
Yeah, I was gonna say at least 12 quarter.
Yeah, if it was me, I'd do 5-inch slabs because that would make perfect, 14-inch by 5-inch deep bowls is a perfect serving size.
okay, so
And
14,
of course-
14 inches wide by 5 inches deep.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that is based on, the size of kitchen cabinets. 14 inches is the max that you can put in it inside a kitchen cabinet.
Okay,
Yeah, a standard dinner plate, Dennis, is like just a little over 12 inches.
okay. Well, we'll see what we can get out of it, but I was thinking about 5 inches deep because,
Just make sure you get the pith out of it, Dennis.
yeah, that's
Why-
what I was thinking, taking the pith out, the center, like, get like
Right.
the pith out first and then go from there.
Are you sawing those on a bandsaw mill or are you sawing them into chunks and then splitting them?
Bandsaw mill.
So make sure when he does that he's not gonna start at the pith and split that log in half. You gotta make sure when you scale that log out that, take a measurement a half an inch up from that pith. And that's where your last bottom cut is gonna be. And then figure out how much log you got left and figure out how many boards you can get 5.5 inches thick or whatever you can do to maximize the yield out of that log.
Right. Okay.
And then before he cuts the bottom half of the log, have him cut a half inch below that pith and get rid of that center board. But don't waste that board.
Oh, no.
Right. I just made a quick
Because
drawing.
it'll make quarter sawn blanks out of that.
Yep, that'll make a
Before-
quarter sawn blank.
Yeah,
That's correct, Scott.
it's great for platters and things like that. There you go.
So here we go. So here's your pith
Right.
section. So here's your, 5-inch slab, 5-inch slab, hopefully 5-inch, 5-inch. And then right here, the cut would go this way. And there's your 1/4-inch slab. There's your box material.
Yep.
And then you got your 1/4-inch or your quarter cut slab on this side. And actually, this will be wide enough to make, 5-inch, 6-inch diameter bowls also.
Right.
Yeah,
So
or platters or plates or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
platters or
Exactly.
plates, yep.
or, box material, but that's ideally, that's what you're looking for. So 5, 10, 15, 20. Approximately 5 inches, well, not 5 inches here, but go 1 inch, to the side of the pith on this side, 1 inch, inch and a half on each on the other side of the pith, and you should be good to get that removed, since you're going to be slabbing it off with a mill type.
Right,
So,
okay.
so Dennis, draw that out on the log for your sawyer if he's not used to sawing bowl blanks, because he isn't gonna want to saw it like that.
Well, that's
you know-
why I'm gonna be there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
most
he's
guys
gonna want to
who-
take, he's gonna want to take his first pass on that log to flatten one face, so that
Yeah.
he can roll it and make it into what they call a bunk, which is a square, just about square log.
Right,
And you don't care about having the bark on the outside edge, so don't let them make that into a square, because you won't get a 14-inch bowl out of it then.
Yeah, and most
Right.
sawyers too, they tend to cut their blanks between 2 and 3 inches thick also. So
That's correct.
that's why you want to be
So if-
there and make sure you get the
So if you
proper
wanna
depth of your blanks.
So take a screenshot of that. That way you've got it, Dennis.
now let me figure out how to do that.
I've tried at my house before. It don't work at my house.
Let me,
Yeah, y'all got apples, don't you?
I think he's on a regular computer, Dane.
yeah, I'll just draw it, Dean. I got it. So it's
So-
okay.
5.
So if you go out and measure the narrowest end of that log, Dennis, don't worry about the butt end. You want the small end,
Right,
and then just do exactly what Dean did. Measure, an inch and a half, so you end up with a 2 or 3 inch blank off the pith for your quarter sawn piece. And then whatever you got left over, make your 5 inches, and then what you got on the top, you got on the top. It is what it is.
okay,
Right.
But don't throw
But
that
you-
slab away, because you can make bowls,
Bunch
there'll
of
be
stuff.
bowls out of one
But
end
it-
of it.
I mean, you can get away with 4-inch if it equals out, bottom at the top or the bottom, the math does better as far as like you get 2 4-inch slabs. I would do that instead of 1 5-inch and 1 3-inch.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
no, I understand that. Yeah,
So
try
You
to
get more wood out of it that
maximize-
way.
I just,
maximize the thickness on every board to make them equal.
so
Right.
I just cut up some 18-inch pieces, Dennis, 18-inch elm. And it was pretty uniform log. It was about the same on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
And I got 14-inch wide blanks by 6 inches thick for blanks out of that rectangles or squares after I was done.
Okay,
So you just gotta get the sawyer to cut it the way you want it, because he isn't gonna want to cut it that way.
right. No, and I told him, I talked to him, when I first got on here and said, I'm gonna cut bowl blanks out of it. And he said, okay. He said, so,
So when you do that, I don't remember how many logs you had. You had like 4 or 5.
there's 4.
Okay, so your thick blanks, when you go to stack those, you want to sticker those with 1 by 1s or
Yeah.
2x4s, preferably 1.5 by 1.5 stickers.
Mm-hmm.
And you want them to be no less than 2 feet apart, or no more than 2 feet apart. And you want them to go the whole width of the log, and they have to be stacked one on top of the other. So when you layer those logs, those stickers have to be vertical when you sticker those. And then you're gonna want to put cement blocks on the top when you're done, so you don't get any twisting or cupping in those thinner boards. Your thin boards are gonna go on top.
Okay. And then
Mhm.
You
we're gonna
want all the
wax-
weight on those thick ones, or they'll crack and split on you,
Yeah,
especially if you're
Yeah.
air drying them.
well, we're gonna wax the ends.
It doesn't matter. They're still gonna crack and split because they're so thick, and you're
Okay.
air drying it.
Or warp,
Little
bend,
bit.
twist, all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, they do all
Yeah.
kinds of weird. They
Yeah,
do
it doesn't
funky-
matter whether you seal the ends or not, they'll still twist on you.
Yeah.
Okay,
And they'll still crack too.
Yep,
Okay.
and you want
Yeah.
as much weight on the thicker
Couple
ones as
inches,
you
yeah.
can get.
Okay,
Yep.
You want to put
Alright.
the thick ones on top. Don't put them, or on the bottom. Don't put them on top. Don't put your thin ones on the bottom because you're gonna ruin them.
You'll
They'll
warp them. You'll
you'll
cup 'em.
warp them and they'll crack like crazy because of the weight of the ones on top of them.
right.
Yep.
Okay,
But you want at
Yeah,
least.
don't-
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Dane.
don't worry about sealing the ends because they're gonna crack anyhow.
Yep.
okay,
Yeah, they're gonna check, so.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose 6 inches off of each end of those board timbers.
yeah, we cut them 8'4", so,
Yeah, you're gonna lose roughly 6 inches. Even if you seal them, I bet you lose 6 inches off each end.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I find sometimes depending on the wood, if you seal it, you'll lose a little less, but you're still gonna lose 2 to 4, maybe 6 inches on either end anyway. So
Yep.
cut them longer than expected.
Right,
And
Oh.
then the first year, Dennis, you want to cover those with tin and leave the sides open until you get snow there in New York. As soon as you start, just before the snowy season, take a piece of tarp, like any kind of tarp material, plastic or canvas, and you make a tent. Don't drape it tight against the sides. Make it like a tent, and leave the ends open so that the air can flow through there, so it doesn't mold on you in the wintertime.
right. Well, they're
Yeah.
either gonna be inside or in a shed, so,
Then if you're gonna
That'll
put them
be
in a
best.
shed, you have to rotate them every 3 months
okay,
Yeah.
or they'll
Even have
mold.
like a tiny little air fan, not a big fan, not on a high speed because it'll
Nope.
crack quicker, it'll dry too quick. But if you get a tiny little computer fan, like
Yep.
that goes on the side of their hard drives or whatever, just to
Yep.
circulate the air minimally, it will still drive slowly and minimize cracking. But in a shed or a garage or whatever, you do need some sort of airflow.
right,
And I find the computer fans the best. It's not
Yeah.
too high powered, not too little. It's about
Yep.
just right. But you don't direct it directly on the wood, just direct it sort of up or angled upwards so it circulates the air around the room, not
Okay.
directly on the wood, because it'll crack more.
yeah,
Yep.
I do have a little computer fan, so,
You also gotta keep an eye on the temperature and humidity in a shed, so.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
You can't let the temperatures go up in the summer and drop in the winter, because that'll be detrimental to them also.
yeah, because it'll be too much, too fast,
You
Yeah.
want to keep it somewhere around 70 degrees constant with about 35 to 40% humidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
to
and that's
dry
going to
'em
be hard
slowly.
for you in the summer, but
yeah,
Yeah,
In the
just a
winter,
little
it's not
bucket
so-
of water.
In the winter, you just need to worry about the temperature mostly, because the moisture from the wood itself will keep it pretty much humid in there.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially
Yeah.
if you can keep it at 70 degrees. You
Yeah.
know, a little milk house heater or something on those real cold days. I know you're in New York and you get cold days. So in those real cold days, you might want to run a small electric heater in there just at night, just to keep the temperature up if your building isn't insulated.
yeah. Okay, well, thanks for all that information, so I appreciate it.
And that wood will generate its own heat too. In the first
Yeah.
6 months, it's going to give off a lot of heat on its own.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
That's something I used to do for a second job, Dennis, was saw lumber and dry lumber. So I'm pretty up on what you got to do if you're air drying or kiln drying, you know, whatever, however you want to do it.
I'd also recommend throwing some borax on it. Keep the
Yep,
bugs out of it.
Keep the bugs out of it.
okay,
Yeah.
Powder post beetles love walnut. They think it's lovely, and we got a lot of them, Dennis.
okay,
Us northern guys got all kinds of them, and they're hard to kill once you get them.
okay, so just pour the
Yeah.
borax right on the boards? Or just on
Yeah,
top?
just
Just
sprinkle it on
stuff
top of each of the boards. Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
just
Best
go.
way.
You can buy it. It's dishwash. It's laundry
Yeah.
soap.
Yeah, I know what it is, yep,
And then if you happen to get some in the lumber, you happen to
Right,
notice
Doug.
the shavings in the lumber, you can mix that borax with some water and a heavy concentrate, but just enough so you can spray it out of a pump sprayer and spray those boards down with it as they're drying, which will also help keep some moisture in them. And it'll kill kill the powder post beetles.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
The best bet is not to get them at all, but sometimes you
Yeah.
can't help it.
Yeah.
okay.
Were
Yeah, we
those
got-
trees dead standing or were
pretty
they
good.
green?
No, it's standing. We just took it down today,
Yeah, but were they live or dead?
live.
Okay,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we got a ton of limb wood to turn too.
so you cut them at the right time of the year, Dennis?
Mhm.
You always cut hardwoods, well, any trees, if you're gonna use it for turning or lumber, good lumber, furniture grade lumber, you always want to cut it when they don't have leaves.
Okay,
After
Yeah.
the sap is out of them, and the sap by us hasn't started really running yet. It probably did by me today because it was almost 90, but you know, it's as soon as the trees start to bud out, that's not time to cut furniture grade lumber or bowl blanks, because then they're really full of sap and they tend to crack more.
yeah, well, that's why we got on it today, so,
And they'll spalt.
sense-
If you don't get those sawed in a week or two, they'll start the spalting process. And maybe you want that. I don't know.
no, it's gonna get.
I sent you a drawing, Dennis.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Dean.
And the reason I didn't respond to you, Dennis, is I knew I'd see you later tonight. So I just thought I'd wait.
Yeah, no, that's
Yep.
cool. I was busy. I didn't know whether I was gonna get on or not, but I had to clean everything up, but,
No, it's the same way with me. I didn't either because I didn't know the diameter. So,
yep,
and I knew we'd be talking tonight. So,
yep. No, I appreciate all the help, guys. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
You-
Um,
Go
I
to,
do-
do you have a Home Depot near you somewhere?
yeah,
Go to Home Depot, and somewhere in their wood section, they'll have a cart that'll have purple wood painted with purple dots or purple spray paint. That wood is marked 70% off, and it's usually twisted or funky or something. There's
mhm,
always 2x4s in there that you can make your 2x2s out of for your stickers. That way you have dry stickers rather than green ones. They
Right.
work better. The
Okay.
green ones will cause a stripe or a mold stripe wherever you put them. You want to use dry ones if you can.
okay, I'll do that. Okay, cool.
You can even cover them in like a packing tape. That way they won't absorb the moisture from the
Yep.
walnut. And then that in turn will transfer mold and rot and funkiness and stain that stripe across the wood.
And
So
that-
cover,
And that stripe is hard to get out once it's in there.
so you're saying cover the stickers?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
can
like a
wrap
clear packing tape.
them in packing tape, sell
Excuse
them.
me.
Visqueen will work. Anything that you got that's,
Okay.
plastic. Saran wrap works.
Okay,
Yep.
They make packing saran wrap that comes in a roll with a handle.
yeah.
That's what
shrink
we
wrap,
always used.
Shrink wrap.
Shrink wrap. Yep, that works great because it's already on a stick, and all you gotta do is go around that and you don't have to get it tight. You just want it so it's loose, fits loose.
Okay, I've got that, so, cool.
But make sure you rotate that, especially the first 3 months. You got to rotate that. You got to flip that lumber and rotate it. So what's on the bottom comes to the top, except for your thin lumber. And then and you want to flip it over so that it gets,
Right.
so the
At a
air
minimum.
circulates evenly.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's going to take you probably 3 years before you're going to get to use that stuff if you're cutting it 5 to 6 inches thick.
All right, well, let me ask you this question. If we cut it, I'm just saying, we cut it in blocks and then core it, will that work or not?
Yeah, it'll dry faster.
Yeah,
You'll be able to
absolutely.
turn it faster.
Because that's what I'm thinking about, or we're thinking about doing, so. I don't know.
So
Well,
that,
to
so
see.
then you would cut it into,
So you'd want to
have
core it.
have them saw it and then cut it up into chunks with a chainsaw after you're done,
Yeah.
and
Well, I
then
gotta
core it.
I
You're
gotta
gonna
get
have to core it
I
right
got-
away.
I gotta go ahead and get the coring machine to do that too, so.
And you could let it sit for a month or two and then core it too, Dennis. You don't have to core it necessarily right away. You could start the drying process and then core it as you
Yeah.
have time.
Yeah. Well,
Cut sections one at a time as you core.
Yeah, yep.
right.
Cut as much as you can core and
Process that day.
that day, you know?
Now the question on the coring machine or the coring attachment, the one way, can you buy the entire thing with all the, or do you have to buy the cutters separate for the different sizes?
So the one-way comes standard with the high-speed cutters. My opinion, high-speed cutters suck. I did go and look at Arizona Carbide. They do sell the one-way carbide cutters for $35, which is far cheaper than the $50 elsewhere. So I use the carbide cutters. They work immensely better
Okay,
than the high-speed steel cutters that come with the one-way.
so you said the carbide from one way.
Yes, the one-way carbide cutters, but buy them through Arizona Carbide.
Okay,
Plus they're $35. If you get the cutters through one way or Craft Supply, they're $50 a pop.
okay.
Yep.
Well, when I get to that, I may call you again, so,
Yeah, okay, yeah, no worries.
okay.
Dean,
cool.
when you get that coring system, just for
What are you
future
calling me?
reference,
What are you calling me?
Dane, did I call you
Oh,
Dean?
okay. Yes.
Sorry. Dane, when you get that one-way cutter, how many bowl sizes can you cut? I'm not familiar with that tool, so how many bowl sizes can you cut like that? Those bowls you did, how many times do you have to change that cutter to cut different diameters?
I haven't. I've probably done 60 cores.
Okay,
And keep in mind, my wood is far harder than what y'all have over there. I mean, that stuff will go through walnut like butter.
yeah. So when you're cutting those cores, Dane, when you cut the first core, the smallest one, is there a different arm that you use, or do you use the same
Yes.
arm to cut every core?
No, I use different arms.
Okay,
So there's a 7-inch arm. Hold on a minute. Let me pull them out. So I have them all except for the 17-inch arm.
that's a pretty big bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna do a demo on that, Dane? Or did you
Yeah.
already?
Well, I keep threatening to.
I'd like to see it. I bet Dennis would too.
Well, so my problem is that I don't have enough softwood or greenwood to be able to do it because I'm not gonna core
Stuff
this
that's
dry,
dry.
because the majority
Yeah,
of my wood is
rock
all
hard.
dry, and I'm not gonna ruin
well,
the cutters for it.
Right, yep, I understand.
so Dane, you have to go ahead and can you buy the whole unit with everything, or you have to do it individually?
So they're all individual pieces. So
Okay,
Mhm.
you have you got the main frame, the yoke, the base, and so you purchase that based on the size of your lathe, whether it's 20-inch, 24-inch, or the smaller, the one that's made for the smaller lathes. And then each of the cutters are you have to purchase. So there's a 9-inch cutter, and then so with this 9-inch cutter, you can get a maximum of an 11-inch diameter, and then you can also tilt off the base, and you'll make a more conical shape. And I've gone down as far as 4 inches, making a 4-inch by 6-inch conical shaped core using the 9-inch cutter. And you can do the same thing with all the cutters. And then, so the next size up is, they're 11.5. And so you can, so again, so that's a, yeah, 11.5. And then so you can do the same thing by changing the base, to make a more conical deep form. And so with this, I've gone down to, I want to say 9 inches. Because I started off with this one and the 13-inch knife. And with the 13-inch knife, I can get 15-inch.
Hey, Dane, can you highlight yourself? All we're seeing is your little picture.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
They're looking
Now
at
I got to
my
go
mug.
back through this again. No, that's all right. And then so here's the 13-inch cutter. And it's all based on the radius of going in. And then here's what the carbide tooth looks like.
No,
It's a totally different shape, and it actually cuts instead of scraping because of the way it's made. It looks like a marking knife, an inverted marking knife.
And they can be sharpened too.
Yes, you can sharpen them on your diamond cards.
Well, that's much better.
And
Even
so,
much better
so the
without
cutter,
pressure.
looks like a marking knife,
yep,
except it's up on end. So you got the flat side on this side, and then you got the bevels coming down on the side here, and that's what the carbide cutter shape looks like. And then so again, so here's the 9-inch arm. Same thing. Of course, I keep them taped up because you only want to hit them one time.
Yeah.
You know it.
Oh yeah, they're sharp.
And then so I bought the, so there's the 11.5. And so I started off with the 13 and the 11.5. And that's when I figured out that I can make the smaller bowls, but I couldn't get anything smaller than 9-inch diameter with the 11. And so I was turning out, making more wood chips when I could make a bowl. And so I went ahead and got the 9-inch arm, so again, that allowed me to get, smaller bowls, and you can shift the base instead of having it perpendicular on the lathe bed. You offset it a little bit. And so you're able to do a different form. So it's not the typical spherical one-way core that you normally see people making. It's more conical. So you get a longer shape, smaller front end diameter, but a longer bowl base.
it'd be deeper.
And so, yes, deeper. And so I'm happy with them. I started off with the McNaughton system, and I bought the complete set for it, all the cutters. But unfortunately, I got a bad set, and they weren't tempered. And in fact, when they came, they came to me, all of them at the handle at the tang, they were all twisted by about a 1/2 inch.
Dang.
So how they got through quality, I have no idea. Old boy in New Zealand, where McNaughton's from, he was pretty upset about it. And so I was doing my first core and picked it up. Watched a lot of videos on it. Seemed, for me, pretty obvious on how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to be a huge learning curve on it, but I didn't have an issue with it. I did a 5-inch and a 7-inch core, no problem. And then when I switched to the large, went to the next size up, 10-inch or 11-inch blade, I got about 2 inches in, Next thing you know, yeah. Locked up the lathe, pulley started spinning. I pull it out, and that damn blade had bent all the way down. And I'm like, what the hell? Okay, set this one aside. Go to the next size. Move on another 2 inches. I'll be a son of a gun. Same thing didn't happen. I wasn't getting the catch, wasn't doing it improperly. And then at that time, I had them lined up. And then that's when I noticed how the tangs were all kicked off. I had a cant to them, by about a 1/2 inch twist on them. I'm like, this can't be right. So, and I took a picture and I explained, what happened. And I sent it to Alan Packard because I got him through Packard Toolworks. And so in turn, Alan responded back to me and he said, yeah, those tools don't look right. What happened to the tang? And I'm like, hell, I don't know. I go, that's how, that's how y'all shipped them to me. So and in turn, he took them and forwarded that email with the pictures, off to McNaughton in New Zealand. And immediately he came back and he said, I'm so sorry. I go, those tools never should have made it to you. Those didn't, they weren't tempered correctly. And I can tell straight away based on the handles because they weren't straightened because they come out of their extruding process with the handle being kinked like that. So they never got heated up and straightened. And the overall tool hardened to the correct hardness.
Oh,
So sent them all back. And I said, screw it. I ain't taking a chance on another set being wrong. And I went with the one way and pretty happy with it.
I've heard a lot of good things about the one way.
It's the best.
Yeah. So my next question, my swing on my lathe is 16 inches. My friend's got a huge, robust lathe. It's a big one. And I was just wondering if we should get it to fit his lathe versus my lathe so that we can core the bigger bowls.
well, it depends on, especially how much horsepower does your lathe have?
Yeah. And how often are you gonna really be doing massive bowls?
Yep.
Yeah, how often, Dennis, are you gonna do a 14-inch bowl or anything much bigger than 12 inches?
It's
Well,
hard
I
to
get-
sell massive bowls. People don't buy them as
Exactly.
often as you would think.
Yeah, you
It's
sell
such a
little stuff easier.
niche. Yeah. Same here. I mean, I do the odd large thing, but I mean, it's such a niche to someone who really wants something massive because
Yeah.
then they have to store it. They have to have the cupboard space. They have
Okay.
to,
We have to have the
Be able
table
to
room if they
display
want it
it.
on a table, a table has to be so big to fit a big bowl on. So.
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
And then they fill it and it's heavy. So, I mean, I find for the most part, 16 and below, or even 12 inches and below is really what the majority of people take.
Okay.
Right. That's why I was saying 14 inches is the max I would be concerned about.
And go-
Yeah, unless it's a special commission piece, I wouldn't make a bowl bigger than 14 inches anyway.
Right.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah,
yep,
same
I
here.
agree.
Because you'll hold on to it for 5 years until you find that person who really wants it and appreciates
Yeah.
it and will pay for it. So,
That's why I'm asking.
And you look at fruit bowls, probably the biggest fruit bowl you'll ever see is 14 inches, because like everybody's saying, they get too heavy, you can't pick them up
Yeah.
once you load
Yeah.
them with fruit.
Okay.
you just make them a little deeper so they can hold more fruit. But
Okay.
the diameter is really ideally 14,
Also-
16 maximum.
So
Also
then,
on a dining table, because of the width, if you put a maximum size you want is 14 because you want to be able to put a plate on both sides of that.
Yep,
Yeah.
An average dinner plate is 12 inches, plus you're still going to want room beyond that.
Right.
So,
Yeah, for,
yeah.
for all
yeah,
the
so
food.
if you
wanna
put a big bowl there, you're not going to have room for any dinner plates or anything.
Okay.
on
No,
it.
I'm kind of new to it, so that's why I'm asking.
How much
No, no,
horsepower does
absolutely.
your lathe have, though?
What's
Yeah, you
that?
need
It's
a
a
lot of
record,
horsepower.
it's a record power 60, the Envoy.
I
It's
I
got-
think it's 1.5, Scott.
Yeah, But
Well,
with
as long
that
as you
sort
core
of-
the smaller bowls, you'll be fine. But if you go start getting bigger, you need a much higher horsepower
Yeah.
to,
Right.
be able to make
Like
it
2 or
through it all
3
the way.
horse.
Gonna go, well, yeah, definitely the horsepower, but you know,
Yeah,
mainly you
will
need
burn the
that
motor.
low end, you need that low end torque.
Yes.
And the
You're not
smaller
gonna core at
motors aren't,
1400
and the
RPM.
smaller motors aren't made for that amount of exertion that's involved with coring. Because you're only
Yeah.
coring at
burn
speeds
them out.
between 400 and 700 RPM.
Yeah, I mean, you can put it on the Power Stroke belt, but still, the smaller lathes don't have the
Right,
horsepower.
well,
to
you know,
be
and
doing a
that's
lot
on
of
the Power
coring.
Stroke belt. Yep.
Okay, well, thanks.
I
for
don't
that.
think I don't think your record power, Dennis. I think you'd have a hard time coring much over 12 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
you know,
think you're gonna
you
be,
know what it tells me, Dennis, is that you need to get yourself a 2 horsepower, 20-inch lathe. You just got
Yeah.
you just got the excuse to upgrade.
Well,
there you go. Need a 3
Right.
horsepower one way,
Ain't
2436.
that, ain't that what I'm hearing, boys?
Yeah. Yeah.
my problem is my shop is upstairs versus downstairs. If it was, if it was downstairs, I'd have a big Powermatic, but I don't
Well,
have.
they come in pieces. They come in pieces. You got block and tackle.
You got friends that can help carry stuff.
Right?
I had friends help me carry that one upstairs, but
And
I
so
get it.
what if you gotta beef up the floor a little bit to hold it?
Well, I'm
Go
at
to the local
16.
high school and hire some of the football kids.
There
They
you
do it
go.
for you. Some
I'm
food.
16.
Go
I
hire
made it.
some wrestlers. They're the ones that can actually lift stuff.
Yeah, I know. I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? You know what I'm saying.
Oh, I do. I do. But anyway, so I got another question. I haven't finished it yet, but I made that the off-center chuck there that Jim Duxbury
Duxbury.
made.
Yep.
How, you were talking about 22 degrees offset. How do I know how far off from center I'm going to get the different degree cut?
Scott, that's you, buddy.
Trial and error.
Practice or get a degree wheel and degree it. I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Do what
Practice,
looks,
trial and error.
do what looks right to you,
okay,
and then keep good notes so you can duplicate it later so you don't have to think about it the second time.
okay.
I mean, I have no idea what mine is indexed, and I do what looks right. And I mean, what looks the way it should look,
Okay,
and you sometimes you can overthink some of this stuff, Dennis.
Yeah, I'm not,
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm not
Use
trying to
your eye.
overthink it.
through that.
Yep.
Because I was thinking, I was gonna ask how Joaquin, when he did that bird, how he held it. So what I was thinking is he had the tendon go in the center of that and hold it that way. That's what I was thinking.
Well,
Yeah, you make the
Yeah.
tenon and then you just offset it on an angle in the tenon. You make an extra deep tenon. And you
Yeah.
offset it on different angles within the deep tenon.
yeah,
Yeah,
Hey, Dennis, I'll send you a video on that tomorrow.
Okay,
he's putting that.
You'll be surprised how easy it is to turn ducks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
you
he's
don't
doing is
need the-
putting that 1-inch tenon on the bottom, Dennis. And then he's sliding his jig back and forth in his jaws. That's
Yeah.
all he's doing.
that's what I kind of figured. I figured that out because I didn't have a 1 5/8 Forstner bit, so I did it at 1.5 inches. But now I went and got a 1 5/8 inches, but
You made your hole in the center 1 5/8
no, 1.5
inches, 1.5 inches. See, I only got a 1-inch tenon in the center of mine.
Okay,
Just because it gives you more meat on the edges of that board. I mean, my board's only 2 inches wide or a little more. Probably maybe 2¼ inches wide, because that's all my jaws will hold. And I only have a Nova 3, so it doesn't open up far enough to get much more than that.
yeah, okay.
Hey
No.
Scott,
don't need
did you get your new lathe?
Not yet. It's coming. It's on the truck. Supposed to be here by the end of the week.
Yeah, I looked it up. They said if I bought it yesterday, I'd get it by the 17th of this month.
Good luck.
What lathe is that?
A Jet.
Huh?
I bought a Jet 1640.
Oh, you're gonna like it. My friend bought one. Those things are beautiful, beautiful lathes. I've demoed on it like 4 times, and it's wonderful. You'll really like it.
Yeah, it'd just be nice if they'd get it here.
Yeah. Once you
I've
get it,
been waiting almost, well, at the end of the
every
week.
dial, the hell stock is so smooth when you turn the handle, and the
That's-
speed control is really nice. Everything is just top notch on it.
I was just wondering about the headstock handle. It looks
Uh-huh.
awful small.
No, it's pretty good for what it is. Yeah.
I mean, they're all small, aren't they, Scott? I mean, even your Powermatic doesn't have much of a handle on the end.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
You don't really need to. I mean, you're not going to move your headstock that often. You don't really need to crank it down really hard. If you are, just tap it with a rubber mallet a little bit if you're worried about it coming loose. That's all you need to do.
No,
didn't
no,
have
I mean,
Didn't have to beat it down.
He means the spindle handle, I think, Scott.
Oh,
have to
no. No, it's the perfect size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean,
'cause I was looking at pictures of them and it kind of looks small.
It's not that small. It's no bigger. It's no smaller than what I have on my Laguna. So yeah, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
it's got to be
My,
what,
my,
an inch?
my Laguna one's
Yeah.
at least 3.5 inches long. It's about that long. So yeah, it's plenty of room to turn it, and it's smooth. It turns so smooth. You can do it with one finger, just like wee. You don't have to fight it. It doesn't make any noises. It's just like, wow, it's incredible.
Yeah, I got a jet like Scott does, that little one.
Many.
Yeah. And when I'm turning stuff, I kind of worry about stuff falling on the motor. So I put cardboard over it, especially if I'm doing anything with, the acrylics, because I don't want it to suck into that motor and
No.
melt.
Right.
That motor does get hot. And, other than that, I haven't had too much, actually no trouble with it.
The one I've demonstrated on it is so quiet. It's whisper quiet. You're like, is it running? Oh, the wood's turning,
Yeah.
but I don't hear the motor. It's that
Right.
quiet. It's crazy.
Good.
Well, I mean,
Hey,
it's
guys.
just-
Hey, Heather's got a finishing question. She's being bashful. Heather,
Being bashful.
Jump on.
Come on,
You
Heather.
gotta put your video on.
Sorry, I was just in a group of people there. I didn't want to ask in front of them all. What do you put on the inside of an urn, or do you finish them?
I don't finish. 'em.
Yep.
I
Same
don't
stuff I put on the outside of the urn.
Okay,
I finish both the inside and the outside. I mean, I'll make the outside much shinier than the inside, but I at least put 3 coats on the inside
okay. Yeah, because I've got a piece of
just to
spalted
seal it so it
birch.
doesn't move.
I'm using spalted birch for it, and it's pretty
Because-
funky, so I was trying to, I mean,
Oh,
it looks
yeah.
beautiful, but
Yeah. Well, if
You
it was
need to-
Oh
punky,
yeah,
I would seal it.
definitely.
Yeah, I would seal the inside.
And I
but
mean,
really punky wood, sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
If it was punky.
any wood really. I mean, because you never know if it's sealed, if it's going to sit on the mantle for a while, if it's going to change to a different state or a province or a country, and I mean, if it's not finished on the inside and it's finished on the outside, it can potentially start to move and twist and crack, and then your lid doesn't fit right or whatnot,
Okay.
right? So
all
better
right.
safe
Yeah,
than sorry.
he doesn't know what he's gonna do with the ashes yet, if he's gonna spread them and keep the urn or what, but, it's my ex-husband's ashes, so, I gotta seal them in there.
Oh, very,
Don't
Yeah.
want 'em to
very
get up-
least, what I do is I pour some, I put shellac sanding sealer in, pour it inside, and then roll it around quite a bit, and then pour out the excess and let it dry for like a week. And that'll seal the
Okay.
wood pretty good on the inside.
All right, that should work.
Do that a couple times.
So
Yeah.
maybe shine juice would work really good on the inside.
Yeah, I don't have that.
You make it.
A mass exodus.
How do you do that?
It's shellac, linseed oil, and denatured alcohol.
Okay, well, I've got all that.
Go, Captain Eddie's got a video on his website on how to make it.
All right,
Equal parts.
Yeah, it's just equal parts.
equal parts, okay.
And Heather, I make it in a glass jar when I make it.
Okay,
And if you want to make it food safe, instead of using denatured alcohol, use Everclear alcohol that you get in the liquor store. So it's 190
Well, I have some-
grain alcohol.
okay. I have moonshine that's homemade, so I can use that.
That'll work because
That'll
All
work.
right,
that's all it takes, and that'll make it food safe. Your denatured alcohol has heavy metals in it, and you don't want to use that. I mean,
Well,
people
so does
tell you
boiled
what.
linseed. Oh, so does
So
boiled
does
linseed.
linseed oil.
Yeah, linseed. See, I leave the linseed oil completely out of mine, so all I use is Everclear and shellac, and I don't buy
Alright.
canned shellac.
No, you make your own. You get,
So,
I use flakes whenever I make shellac. but
Dane, can you highlight me so she can see it?
yeah, you just get blonde shellac flakes.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I gotta get some more of that. I just used my last batch, well, probably about 6 months ago, so I gotta buy
And
some
then-
more.
So I
and
use
then-
super blonde because then it doesn't have any color to it at all.
And,
All
and
right.
make sure it doesn't have, the shellac doesn't have wax in it. It has to
Yep.
be
It's gotta be
de-waxed shellac.
de-waxed.
De-waxed shellac,
Yep.
Right.
okay.
And I get it
Alrighty.
off of Amazon. This bag is
Or a lacquer is quick too. Quick and
Yep.
easy. Spray, you're done.
Spray lacquer,
this is a 1 pound bag, and I know I paid less than $15 for this 1 pound bag of shellac. It was pretty cheap.
okay.
And it don't take much. I use a quart jar. I put a couple of shellac flakes and a couple of the denatured or the Everclear alcohol. And then I just mix it up in a glass canning jar. And then I separate it off what I need at a time because otherwise you lose the alcohol in it.
Okay. Alrighty,
And it keeps, I make it up, it keeps 6-7 months without having to do anything to it in that glass jar.
okay.
And then what I do is I pour it in a ketchup bottle that you can get at Walmart or any place, party store or whatever.
Right.
Refrigerator door,
Yep.
one that's empty.
It's one.
Yeah.
And I pour,
Everyone keeps knocking around going like, yes, I know I can get that last teaspoon out.
The
Or a
honey jars
mustard.
work good too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mustard.
or the mustard jars.
Mustard jars, honey jars, yeah.
Any plastic
Alright.
squeeze bottle, pretty much.
Yeah. Anything that, if it seals up tight, it's good. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, you're still gonna have alcohol loss because it just
so here's what I got left in
disappears in
my
osmosis.
jar. You can see this.
Looks like
It hasn't settled out, but when you put it in the plastic containers, it settles out. So you got to shake it up once in a while.
Yeah.
Okay,
mhm.
And if it looks like it's separated and there's not a lot of alcohol in it, it gets kind of thick. Just add a little
Yep.
more alcohol to it.
Yeah.
all
Sorry.
right.
And then so
Sorry.
And then so
No.
when you're using a bottle like that, when you're done using it, you want to take something and mark that level.
Yep.
What that height of the liquid is, and then whenever you come back to it, it's going to be less. And what that means is the alcohol is evaporated out, and you need to add that much more alcohol back into it to bring it back to that level.
Well, that's a
Yep.
good
Yeah,
idea.
I use a piece of tape.
Yeah, a piece of tape, ink pen, whatever,
Yeah,
That
whatever
way
it
you
takes.
mark that level because the alcohol is going to. I mean, it just disappears in osmosis, whether it's
Yep.
grain alcohol, or denatured alcohol or isopropyl. It just disappears.
Yeah, it
Right.
evaporates quick.
But I made this, Heather, I made this about 8-9 months ago in this glass jar, and you can see that it doesn't separate because the lid seals it.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, I have lots of those around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
But you can't make up large batches, Heather, because shellac will expire.
Yep.
Yeah, I just use small batch.
I make
The
a
bug
cup at a
shit-
time.
Bug shit's got a shelf life.
Yep.
Okay.
I make it a cup at a time because that's about what I can use up and
Yeah.
before it goes bad.
Okay.
And it's easy to make another batch.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you
I
can
just
u-
hate wasting it though. I like to use it before it goes to waste.
So you
Unless
can
you're
use-
in California where moonshine's illegal and so is denatured alcohol.
I don't know why you still live there. I don't know
I
why
don't
you
know why
live
you
there.
live there, Scott.
Same here.
Actually, I'm able to. I've ordered gallons of denatured alcohol on Amazon ever since they made it illegal here. People send it to me, no question. So that's fine.
Oh, yeah. I live in the forest in Canada, so I'm good. We just have a still out back.
There
Yeah,
you
my
go.
old hillbilly friend, he passed away, but we used to make it all the time, and we made a solar still once, but we couldn't, nobody was a guinea pig to try it.
Yeah, nobody wanted to go blind. Yeah.
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 Well, the trick is pouring off about a cup and a half when you first make it.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of the head.
Yep, the first stuff out and right at the end too. Get rid of the first and the last of it, and you're good to go.
Don't ask me how I know that.
Or me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take. you
All
through
right,
that
guys.
too, bro.
Hey, I'm gonna take off. I'll see you all
All right,
next
hey,
time.
good to see you. I'm
Yeah.
glad your neck's feeling better.
Oh yeah. I still got surgery in the future, but they just pumped me up full of cortisone today. So I'm
Yeah.
feeling pretty good right now. Should last me a
Yeah.
month or two before. and then-
Bullshit. I'll
Yeah.
I'll give you a call tomorrow, next day, and we'll talk. I'll fill you in on what to expect there with your neck because I've had neck surgery and
Not fun.
No,
not fun, brother.
I've had spinal fusion in my lower back, so
Yeah, well, you know what? You know what's involved. So, but
yeah. But
I'll
the
give you a
middle
call.
or the neck is
Yeah.
totally different. I'm more worried about my neck than any surgery I've ever
Yeah.
had before. So yeah, give me a
Yep.
call. Appreciate it.
Yep, we'll talk. Yeah, no
All
worries.
right. All right.
Good
Talk to
seeing
you
you,
later.
buddy.
All
All
right.
right, bye-bye.
See ya, Scott.
All right, guys, thanks for all the help. I got a bowl. I'm tired.
Hey, you're welcome, Chief. Anytime. You know,
Anytime,
we're always
brother.
here.
I'll give you
Ain't
a
it
call.
nice? All right. Hey, ain't it nice when you give us a call and we always pick up?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I gotta pick your brains about Facebook.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
FaceTime. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Good
no,
old
I can do now, so,
Yeah,
Um,
right on.
all right, cool. All right, guys,
All right,
thanks.
Chief. Good night,
guys.
buddy. We'll talk to
Appreciate
you
it.
later.
Have a good night.
You're welcome.
See you later.
Have
Dennis.
fun, Fat Walnut, man. I'm envious. That's a good dude.
Yep. How's that stack of bowl blanks for you, Dane?
Yeah, you were busy.
Not bad. Keep
And
you
then I got
busy.
a stack right there behind me too.
Hell yeah.
Somebody
I
gave me this piece of wood. Does anybody got an idea of what it is?
Fogwood.
Huh?
Let me see it again.
Fogwood.
See it again.
Yeah, hold on. I mean, highlighting. Here we go, Dan.
Looks like spalted maple.
Yeah, spalted maple. Yeah, looks like.
Or
Is
it
this-
could be, or it could be
like-
spalted birch too. Birch looks like that too, kinda.
Yeah.
Looks like sassafras.
Is it really, is it heavy?
Yeah, it's quite heavy and it's really chippy.
Then it ain't maple.
Looks like sassafras.
I mean, I'm having all I can do to turn it.
You need to sharpen your tools more.
Yeah.
Oh. I just took them off the CBN wheel. And I'm using a 40/40 grind on them.
There's your problem. You need to go back to a 50 grind.
Yeah.
An Irish grind or an Ellsworth grind.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
At 40/40 is overrated.
Yeah, it's garbage.
It's great. So it's great for throwing the shavings on the outside of the bowl, but you can't do damn it with it on the inside of the bowl because you can't go around the wall because
Yeah,
your
you can't
handle's
get
in the
around
way.
corners. It's more of a bottom feeder.
It's impossible. Well, you can't even bottom feed with it.
Yeah,
Well, I
'cause you
got
can't- the
bottom
handle
feed.
gets in the way.
I mean, I'm a real cute Turner. What's her name? Because she interned with Stu Batty, and and that's what's Mike Mahoney beats him every time they have a bowl turning challenge.
Yeah.
Every time
Ashley
Mike Mahoney
Hardwood?
beats him. Yeah, Ashley Hardwood. Yeah.
Yeah. And Glenn Lucas beat Mike Mahoney.
And both of them don't use a 40-40.
No, they both use, well, Mike Mahoney's Ellsworth and Glenn Lucas is Irish grind.
Right, but they're both a 50-55 degree grind.
No, they're different by 5 or 10 degrees, depending on the turner.
Yeah, well, ballpark, 50-55.
Yeah, the
Close
Ellsworth
enough.
is closer to 65 and the Irish grind's closer to 55.
Okay. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, give or take 5 degrees or so.
mean-
It's all turner's preference.
Right.
But yeah, it's
I think the
similar.
Irish
grind
grind
with
is.
the
I
wings.
think the Irish grind is more indicative of how long the wings are ground, as opposed to the Ellsworth grind or fingernail grind. The fingernail grind, Ellsworth grind are pretty much synonymous because it's not an obtuse grind on the wing. The Irish grind is the obtuse grind on the wing.
No, the wings are similar. It's just the degree
they?
on the center, on the front tip.
Okay.
The wings are very similar.
I'll stand corrected. That was
Yeah, I
my
find
always,
the
I always
Irish
thought that was
grind
my
has a
interpretation.
longer swept back than the Ellsworth has a shorter swept back, but
Right.
the nose is a different degree. And they're both swept back to like 120 degrees, but the wings are roughly the same. It's just the degree on the tip.
Here's the,
And the reason they're both called different was they're both coming up with it at the exact same time. So the UK
Right.
had a version and the Americans had a version.
here's the grind I've got.
Yeah, that's more like an Ellsworth.
But I don't know.
So you said 40-40. Are you grinding that freehand or using the
No,
jig?
that's on a one way.
Yeah,
Wolverine?
Wolverine sharpening jig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a 40-40 grind then.
No, it'd be a modified Ellsworth grind or Irish grind. It's just the wings aren't swept back as far.
Right.
So it all depends on what angle you are at the post, which will create your angle at the tip.
Right.
Yeah. So you should be able to cut fine. It's just a matter of keeping it sharp. That's all. But
yeah,
that's not a 40-40.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I
So
may-
a 40-40. So here's the thing with 40-40. So the 40-40, you either you grind solely on the platform freehand.
Yeah. And it's
Or
stubby.
and the only other jig out there that's available commercially is Ron Brown has a jig that you can that can actually duplicate a proper 40-40 grind. But aside from doing it freehand or using his jig,
Okay. I made these scribes, but this one here I kind of made for my hand. And I got a big hand and it looks more like a shifting
Sure.
knob for my semi.
hey, there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that.
cool.
Hey, I got big mitts too, so
But
Maybe
I
you
made
could
this
sharpen
one for
handle.
my neighbor.
Nice.
but I gotta finish it up. I've got some dirt or something in it.
What are
Yeah,
they,
put a-
scratch holes?
Huh?
What are they, scratch holes?
Yeah,
Yep.
I haven't sharpened them up. But I'm making a bird cage all out of one, but I just ordered some 5mm high-speed steel. And I'm gonna try making a bird cage all out of that because it's just under 1/4 of an inch. And if I feather it back far enough, I think it'll be pretty nice for making holes.
It'll work on leather pretty good too.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
yep.
but I'll tell you, for
You can
the-
even make yourself a nice 3-point tool out of that.
Yeah. So I was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but this here, this is just
Elongate the handle though.
hardened steel is all this is.
Right. High speed
But-
steel.
This, it just reminded me of my shifter on my 4-speed of my pickup.
Right. Yeah.
That's why
Yeah,
it
that's
felt.
probably, well, that's probably the reason why you turned it that shape. It was just, muscle memory of knowing what your hand was gonna like
Yep.
as you're turning it, and then you're feeling it and you're like, yeah, it feels good.
And then you give it to somebody else and they got small hands and they're going like, man, this thing's a little big.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when you say like, yeah, you're just small.
Yeah.
Yep.
Itty bitty.
When I was a kid, my uncle always said I didn't have hands, I had shovels.
Yeah.
Mitts. Yeah.
so
Wow.
Dane and Cade, what kind of tool is this?
Let me look. Hold on.
Is this a spindle gouge or a bowl gouge?
Spindle gouge. It could be a bowl gouge.
Bowl gouge.
Could be used for both.
Friend of mine dropped this off today. He found it at a garage sale for $2.
Looks like a bowl
Let me
gouge.
see the handle.
The flute's pretty deep.
It's a Benjamin Best. I mean, it's nothing special, but for $2.
Yeah, it's a bowl gouge. It's a deep flute. But with the
Better.
grind, it's more of a fingernail grind, so it could be
Right.
for detail and spindle. So, but
Could-
the
could
wings
I-
on the sides there are way too
That's what I was getting ready to
way
say.
too high. The wings on the side
So I would
I want to
invert
change
that.
it. I want to change this to an Irish grinder and Ellsworth
be-
grind. Can I do that?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So
Yeah.
one,
Oh yeah, definitely.
you've got the natural rails there. So on your platform, on your grinding platform, you'll turn that up to where the rails, the
Those
top of the
wings are way
flutes
too
rest on the platform. And
Okay.
then you want to grind those wings down to the nose. And so you're going to reprofile the top of those wings.
So you're gonna cut these wings back like this,
Hold it up.
back like this.
Yes.
From the nose, you're gonna flatten them out essentially.
Well, no, you're just going to bring those wings down to the nose.
Okay. Guess I'm not following that.
Here.
I'm confused.
That's all right.
That don't
Here,
take
let
much,
me-
guys.
Let me go to the grinder.
You FaceTime me, I can show you. But yeah, so you rather than concentrating on the nose, you concentrate more on the wings
So
to
back
make them
here,
a little more acute, to bring that swept back further back.
so you're gonna
Because
do this with it.
those wings are
Here.
just too aggressive. You'll get one hell of a catch.
That's what I thought too. I thought they were awful steep.
Rip your arm off.
All right. So you want to reprofile the wings.
Yep,
Where they're not hanging out.
right.
There's not much of a wing on that guy.
Well, I've got this thing super sloped. This is my detail.
Yeah.
And so all you're going to do is you're going to ride the rails of the flute.
Okay.
Let me get a
Well,
marker.
if it's an Irish grinder, an Ellsworth grind, you want to use the jig to get the proper. You're not going to freehand sharpen it.
Right.
Well,
and
no,
I
you're
have-
going to
And I have a
No,
one
you're
way.
not, no, I'm not gonna, no, you don't freehand sharpen it, but you gotta take those freaking wings down.
He's just
And
saying
so-
you gotta knock the tips off.
Oh, no, you
And
don't
it's-
do it that way. Well, I've never seen it done that way.
Yeah, so this is what I do. Would do, have done.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
And so that'll take that convex off.
right. Yep, I get
And
it
it
now.
just takes a little bit. And then so now you've got, now you've got the proper slope on them.
Right. Yep.
And
It'll
then you
create
go
a
back.
slight concave.
No, because
Won't it?
they're straight across. They're straight across.
They're
And then
straight
from
across.
Okay.
there, you go into your Wolverine jig and then sharpen properly.
Yeah, you're gonna take
As-
that. You're gonna straighten them out once you put them in the Wolverine jig. You're gonna get them back level again. Take that if there
Correct.
is any contour.
Right, because you're taking that convex, that hump, that hump that you got right now, you're taking that off.
Yeah, you're knocking those top two corners back.
Right.
Now, is this a 40-40? Or
So I just
fingernail,
explained, okay,
fingernail grind?
combination fingernail Ellsworth, yeah. Are you
Because
using the
that's-
Wolverine, are you using the Wolverine jig?
Yeah. And I was thinking about taking this off here and making it more as a detail.
Yeah, so that looks like a 35 degree. How
I
are you setting your distance?
Oh, I've got just,
The Raptor jigs or,
yeah, Raptor jigs.
okay. And so was that about right? 35? So what you use
Yeah.
on that one?
Yeah, I got my tool over here. I'll go measure it.
And I'll FaceTime you one of these days and we'll go through it, or I'll get a hold of Cade and one of the two of you and we'll fix this tool.
Okay,
Yeah, either or.
Where's-
I got a different way of doing it, but I'm sure they both work.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'd be interested in to see. I'll do both of you and then I'll pick which one I think I can do.
Yeah.
But I mean, for $2, what the heck?
Oh, I mean, that's a great deal for a tool, $2. Can't
Oh,
go
yeah,
wrong.
absolutely.
Even if you make it
Sure.
into a specialty tool, doesn't owe you nothing.
I mean,
That's
it's
right.
high-speed steel. I mean, it's gonna hold an edge,
Yeah,
and it's gonna cut, you may have to sharpen it more often than, the higher end ones, but it's still gonna perform the way it's supposed to perform.
yeah, that's all I care about.
It's actually showing a 45.
Okay, 45?
Yep.
And This one,
Nice.
this one's ground at 50 right now, according to my protractor.
Yeah, that's what I just measured.
Now, if you're using that Raptor to set the distance, set the angle on it, that will not work unless you have the exact same angle that the Raptor tells you to use on your jig,
On the arm.
on the arm.
Right.
The arm has to be set at the exact same angle that the Raptor wants you to set it for, to
Right.
get that nose angle.
Yeah, the nose angle.
And a 40-40 grind you cannot get with the jig.
Right.
No,
It
it's
has
all
to be done by
freehand.
hand.
Well,
It
either
takes
by
a
hand
lot
or
of
Ron
practice.
Brown's jig,
Is what?
or Ron Brown's jig.
Well, you know what? Somebody bought one and sharpened something on it, and you know what? It wasn't 40-40. It was different.
Was it? Well, I've seen Ron's videos on it, so I can only go from it.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend that, said it was too hard to sharpen it by hand, and then I compared what he got off of the jig versus 40-40 grind that I have, and they were not the same.
Right. Yeah, I don't use it because you can't use it on the inside of a bowl, so.
You use it on the side of the bowl and stuff. You just
Well,
use a
yeah,
different
yeah,
gouge for the
on the
bottom.
side is, right.
Mhm. Yeah, I've never used a 40-40. I learned on the Irish grind. That's all I use. It's the most versatile. You
Well,
can
the 40-40
trim at
is
the
very
over.
similar to an Irish grind. It looks very similar to it.
Yeah, just different angle.
It's just a different angle. And one neat thing about it is the side angle is the same as the nose angle. So if you want to
Right.
change your angle of attack on it, you just rotate it. You don't have to swing the arm or anything. You just rotate it. So you can get a sharper shear cut on the end of it. You get into bad wood or something, you can rotate it in there.
So how can you make your own angle finders, Trace? So I don't have to buy Raptors.
They're easy to make. I just made mine out of plexiglass, but I don't use it.
How do you set it up then?
On the 40 degree, I'm setting the platform up at 40 degrees.
Okay,
And I had an original angle, a thing that fit onto it that Stuart came up with, but I made one myself. I set one at the angle and then put some tool steel against it, and now I have another gauge.
okay. I'd like to make my own instead of buying them. I'm cheap. I'm thrifty.
Well, the only problem is getting the right angle the first time on your
Yeah.
platform.
But I got all kinds of junk steel that I can play with to get it figured out.
Actually, when I started doing, I set it up on my sander with a 8-inch wheel on it, and then that's the better way to cut it. But I cut some on a CBN wheel, but I made sure it was tool steel or high carbon steel before I did it. It was real
Yeah,
careful.
right. Yep.
Because you'll clog up your CBN wheel pretty easily if you're not careful.
Mine just came in today, so I got to get them on the grinder yet. I still got factory wheels.
Well, CBN wheels, you shouldn't be sharpening anything with the high speed tool steel on it.
Yep, that's what that grinder's all it's going to be for is my turning tools, nothing else.
Yeah, I've got,
Yeah, no lawnmower blade.
I don't sharpen lawnmower blades with that kind of grinder. I sharpen them with a right angle grinder because it's faster and easier.
and I don't even use a grinder on them. I use the sanding pads.
Yeah, right. That's what I use too. Sanding discs.
Yep.
I don't even use lawnmowers unless I'm on the other side of the river.
Cutting sand, huh?
It's hard to cut rocks. Trace has probably cut grass already this year.
Yeah, I did, but I went down and cut some weeds out more than grass. The grass hadn't really started. Grass is fixing to start growing, but it hasn't really. Weeds are growing. They come out first.
Yep. Always.
Tina's
Yeah.
cut the grass 3 times now up here in Kentucky.
Well, I've cut mine twice up here in Michigan.
I haven't
And
cut mine yet.
I haven't
But
cut mine. Mine's still brown. It hasn't even turned green yet.
mine never turned brown this year. It just stayed kind of a dull green. But then as soon as that sun hit it, boy, I'll tell you, it just
Yep.
bolted.
I got informed tonight about 2 hours ago that it's flower bed cleaning tomorrow. Yippee.
Oh, boy,
I'm excited.
Come on.
been there already. I got mine done already. Did that last week.
There. Philadelphia turkey is in pieces.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that.